of Trustees, and all the employees of the Helena Public Schools, I welcome you this afternoon as we celebrate public education and graduation of our senior class. Graduates, we've learned many lessons over the years we've been in the public school system. Many of those have been in their classrooms with high-quality teachers and staff working around you, but also many lessons learned outside of the classroom through activities on the playing field, in concert halls, in the school parking lot, throughout our community, many lessons learned. As parents and educators and members of the community, we work hard to create a learning path for our youth in our school system and in our community so that they can have a rich learning experience over those years. We work hard to remove obstacles that might occur during those years so that you, during your growing up time, can have a wonderful learning experience. And despite our efforts, life happens sometimes and brings unanticipated and sometimes unwelcome events that occur in our lives. And as graduates, you've had some of those experiences over the years, especially this year. What we know from our life experiences is that there are times we just have to accept our reality, grieve our losses, and reach for the strength that we all have to move on, one step, one day at a time, and move on with our lives. And you clearly, again, have demonstrated that you're able to do that.
An older priest shared the leadership of the Roman Catholic parish with a younger priest, not just recently out of Helena High. He said to him one day, "Young man, I'll just have to admit that it was a good idea when you wanted to put the plush seats in the first 4 rows of the church. And also that rock and roll gospel hour seems to be going over well. I was afraid you'd gone too far when you had that idea of a drive-through confessional. But donations to the church did nearly double. I appreciate all that. But that flashing neon sign that says toot and tell or go to hell has got a small Now you're that younger generation that we older people are worried about. You know, in 50 years, there are going to be a lot of old women with tattoos, wrinkled tattoos. You've been raised with too much TV and video games and computers and cell phones instead of the older ways of getting information and learning that we older people had to endure. And we worry what will happen if the computer internet would shut down. What would do your thinking for you? You know, your recipe for success in the world seems to be a lot like our recipe for a nervous breakdown. In your pursuit of happiness, how are you going to know if you caught it? So we oldsters will just hang around and see what signs you put on our roof. After all, our worrying, wiser generation just leaves you with a war and a depression. So whatever you'll have to offer, I say bring it on. Just remember that you can't do the long jump without getting a little sand in your shorts.
At this time, I'd like to recognize our valedictorians, who will then stay up and give a presentation, which they spent actually months preparing.
Where are you on your journey? Finally, an easy question. In case you are sitting out there, blissfully unaware that your valedictorians are still speaking, I will make this very clear. You're about to graduate from high school. That is where you are at on your journey. You've done the homework, taken the test, checked in, checked out, parked legally, or else paid the fine. You even managed to get past these last few weeks, even though you were constantly asking yourself, what's the point? The point is that education is the foundation of any functional society. As Aristotle said, all who have meditated on the art of governing mankind have been convinced that the fate of empires depends on the education of the few. That would be us, to you. If we are really to call ourselves the fate of the empire, we need to accept one itsy-bitsy fact. We do not embark on our journeys alone. Where are you on your journey? How about where are we on our journey? How will we fit into the oft-quoted circle of life? Think about all of the luxuries that we have as individuals and as a generation. Did we earn those luxuries? The right to speak our mind and practice our religion? Or did our ancestors earn those rights for us and then generously pass them down? Our grandparents endured the Great Depression and weathered World War II. Their resiliency restored a demolished economy, a shattered nation, and their bravery put back together a world torn by hatred and violence. Our parents witnessed real emancipation with the advent of the Civil Rights Movement and celebrated the dissolution of the Iron Curtain and Berlin Wall. Every generation both inherits and endows this world to others. Every generation is met with seemingly insurmountable challenges and left with the task of changing the world for better. What has our generation experienced? On a Tuesday in 5th grade, terrorists attacked our country, and we were left wondering what the World Trade Center had been. Freshman year, hell literally rained down upon the Gulf Coast, and we realized that natural disasters are only as horrifying as the country's response to them. As seniors, we watched and participated in a landmark presidential election, one in which, for the first time, white men were underrepresented. As seniors, we also joined our community to mourn tragedy after tragedy after tragedy. In less than 2 decades, we have seen a lot, but there is still so much more to see, and more importantly, there is so much more to do. No one needs reminding that the American economy is in trouble, or that the global climate is in serious crisis. Few would argue that America is in dire need of health care reform, and that for many, the price of college is too large a sum. What we need to be reminded of is this. For those of us currently wearing brown or yellow robes, we need to be reminded that 18 years of mollycoddling is enough. This is our nation, our world. We share it with billions of others, yes, but we can never assume that the other 6 billion will take care of it. Progress starts here and now, with you and me. Congratulations. We have completed one leg of our journey. We are about to graduate. If we are the fate of the empire, however, graduating is not enough. We have to join the real world and change it, just like our parents and our grandparents did. We need to promise our nation and ourselves that from here on out, we are thinking, caring, and voting individuals. Do not let your journey stop with your diploma. There's so much farther to go.